Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we are going to be doing a little review of the Slaves to Darkness Battletome update that's coming up in the White Dwarf next month, or rather this month. I believe it comes out in the middle of the month. Anyway, the Battletome update, the rules are out there, so we're going to do a review on them. We're going to talk about all of them, what they bring to the army, what changes are made, and this one is a little bit more interesting than the Sons of Behemoth update. This one actually saw some rules changes to a couple of war scrolls, which I think are very cool, and we'll talk about them. And of course, it saw things like core battalions, grand strategies, and battle tactics, and all that added to the army as well, but I think some additional rules. We're not going to look at the Path to Glory rules for this today in this video. I think they're all pretty stock standard on what they're working like. And this one for Slaves to Darkness, we'll probably do separate reviews for all the Path to Glory stuff once we've got them in hand and we sort of look at them a little bit better. So with that said, let's get cracking into this and let's get reviewing the changes for the Slaves to Darkness Battletome update coming out in White Dwarf this month. Alrighty, so I mentioned there were some rule changes, and we got a couple of changes for the allegiance abilities of the Slaves to Darkness, which is pretty sweet. So these are really great, and I'm really happy with what we've got. So first of all, we've got Cultists of the Dark Gods, Ogre and Myrmidons, Dark Oath War Queens, Dark Oath Chieftains, and Cultist units. This is the Warcry Warbands, things like the Untamed Beast, Iron Golems, the Unmade, etc. can now take marks of chaos. This is awesome. First of all, Ogre and Myrmidon being included in there is the nicest change of all. I'm really happy that Dark Oath War Queen and Chieftain can take them, and this does include all 4 gods plus Undivided for them to be able to take. This is just sweet. I haven't even thought of combos yet out of this. I'm just happy that these models can now take marks of chaos and be included in marked armies. Really, really cool that they have access to this. And now, the addition to this is Cultist Battle Lines. So, we've obviously seen Cultist be pure battle line in the Idolaters, which is from the original Broken Realms Marathi. I'm pretty sure Idolaters were in. However, now you get Cultist Battle Line so long as your Cultist unit has the same mark as your general. Now, this is only Cultist, not to be confused with the rule above. This only refers to the units, not these characters. Of course, they can't become battle line, but just in case anyone was thinking that was the case, it's just the Cultist units, and as long as they have the same mark as your general, they become battle line. This, I don't think, enroaches on Idolaters too much, because Idolaters then now have the ability to sort of mix and match marks as they see fit, which is really cool when you bring in Chaos War Shrines and all of those sort of buffs that you can do on different units. I think that's really cool, but just being able to have like marked cultists and do some really thematic armies, I think is awesome. I mean, I've got some Untamed Beasts and some Iron Golems that I'll now definitely be doing up in the Mark of Tzeentch to go along with my Tzeentch Chaos Warriors that I've got in my Disciples of Tzeentch army that are now a little bit hard to use in there. So I'm really happy with this overall. I think this gives a bunch of models some more play. It makes people able to use their models that a little bit easier. Myrmidon is just one of the coolest looking models. I think when it was released, what was it? Not last year, the year before, it was my favorite model of the year to be released. It was an absolutely brilliant model. And the War Queen and Chieftain are both fantastic, well, as are all the Cultists. These are just good models that you're now getting some more rules for. Hope to see more of these models on the table soon. And so, next up, we've got our Grand Strategy. Now, we only got a single Grand Strategy in this Battletome update. It does seem like these Battletome updates are going to get less than a general Battletome we get. Obviously, we got, I think, 4 or 5 in the Stormcast Eternals Battletome for Grand Strategies. We got a lot more stuff than what was in here. However, I guess this isn't too big an issue. We're obviously going to get smaller amounts of stuff in the White Dwarf supplements, but it's nice to see us getting something. And while we get less Grand Strategies and we do get less battle tactics as well, we'll talk about that. I'll just say that now before we get onto them. It is nice to see the rest of the rules updates as well, seeing as they're looking at this from a whole picture. So anyway, the Grand Strategy we get for this is Dominating Presence. So you complete this Grand Strategy if you have at least one unit in each of the large 4 table quarters at the end of the game. Now, what it means by table quarter, I guess, is split your battlefield into 4. If you have a unit wholly within, it doesn't actually say wholly, I don't think. If you've got a unit within each of them, it does say wholly. So if you've got a unit wholly within each table quarter, you will complete this Grand Strategy. I mean, this is a pretty solid one. This is like an easier version, I guess, of the Predator's Domain, where you have to control more terrain features, because you're only having to sort of control 4. And if you've got control of the center of the board, you can really easily do this. So A cool, solid grand strategy. And then we've got the battle tactics. As mentioned, there are only 2 of these. There are less than what is in a Battletome, but we've got the first one in Thrall to Chaos. So we pick one objective on the table that has to have at least an enemy unit within 12 inch of it. Now, just within with this one. And you complete this objective if there are no enemy units within 12 inch of that objective at the end of your turn. This one I don't think is too terribly hard to pick. This combines really well with the grand strategy as well, because generally this can be like maybe either controlling the center, which in thus gives you a good sort of place to be with your grand strategy, or picking an objective in a table quarter where if you can sort of wipe out effectively 1/4 worth of your opponent's army in that table quarter, you can get this grand strategy. I don't think this is a particularly hard one. It's a nice one to have up your sleeve. The second one, however, Lust for Power, is you pick one hero and have to roll on the Eye of the Gods. This means you're going to have to kill a hero with one of your heroes. It becomes very hard to do. Sometimes. There are obviously going to be times where certain heroes can easily roll on the Eye of Gods. This won't always be a thing, but when you can line this up, it'll be another useful one. I don't think it's going to be uncommon. I definitely don't think it's going to be too common, though, as well. So a really solid couple of battle tactics for Slave to Darkness. I think both of these are useful and will get you some extra points throughout your games in an event. And lastly, we've got 2 brand new core battalions for the Slaves to Darkness. The first one we've got the Chaos Warbound. Now this contains 1 Slaves to Darkness leader. It then contains 4 to 8 Slaves to Darkness units. They cannot be leaders, behemoths, or vanguard, and 0 to 1 Slaves to Darkness behemoths. Now, this one gives us the option of being either Unified or Slayers. Slayers being the one where once per battle we can use all-out attack or unleash hell without the command point being spent. And obviously Unified means we're at 1 drop. This is a pretty solid one, I think. Allowing us to take 1 hero and a bunch of units next to it is a pretty solid way to get some 1-drops. It's just sort of a slight change, I guess, on the battle regiments. This gives us a few more units access to it, but it requires us to take more as a minimum. So whether or not this is better than a battle regiment just depends on the sort of army that you're running. If you've got more units in the army, this may be a better option for you. So I guess the other one we've got as well is got the Overlords of Chaos, and this one I see getting much more use, which is 3 to 6 Vanguard units. This either gives you Unified as a 1-drop or Expert, which is once per battle 1 unit from the battalion can receive all-out attack or all-out defense without a command point being spent. I think we're going to see a lot of this in Unified. What's cool about this is it doesn't specify if the Vanguard units can be heroes or not, so Knights of the Empty Throne could make fantastic use of this particular battalion, I think, to get their whole army as a 1-drop. So definitely a really cool army build there with that. But that's everything we've got in the Slaves to Darkness Battletome update. I'd love to know your thoughts on it, what you think's great, what's not, and how you just generally feel about the whole Battletome update situation for coming out. How do you feel about Sons of Behemoth and Slaves to Darkness so far? Let us know in the comments below. Well, thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, if you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine community here at Cinderful Gaming, you can do so by coming and joining our Discord, of which there is a link in the description of the video to go and join. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by Patreon, YouTube members, or by going and purchasing some merch on our Teespring store. You can find the links to all 3 in the description of the video, once again, to Patreon, YouTube members, and to our merch store on Teespring. But also, we'd like to give a special shout out to everyone who helps support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. So, thank you to our patrons Christian Weir, James, Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, Tim Newman, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, MJ, and Dynat226. And a special thank you as well to our YouTube members Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Steve T, The Real Zeop, Chris Wallace, Turai12, Vinny, Lock Lorick, Matt Mollin, Becca Kinski Groupie, The Johnny84, and El Mapache. Thank you as well, a special thanks especially to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel. An absolute legend of a person. And then thank you as well to the legend that is Xmorphic. He does so much amazing work in the background of our Discord server, making sure everything works and looks nice and pretty there for us all to enjoy. So that's enough said from me though. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.